Tom Aspinall is officially breaking his silence and firing back hard at all the critics. He didn't just release a statement, he posted his actual medical report for the world to see, and it confirms he's been diagnosed with bilateral traumatic Brown syndrome. Let me break that down for you. Doctors discovered significant orbital soft tissue trauma. That's the delicate tissue around his eyeballs, along with a possible fracture of the right medial orbital wall. This isn't just some minor poke. We're talking about serious documented damage that completely clears up any doubt about the severity of the injury he sustained in that fight. This report is a direct message to everyone who called him a quitter.
When do you think you can start training again?
Look, it's not up to me. It's up to the doctors. At the minute, I ain't allowed to do nothing, so I'm just following advice at the moment.
What's next?
What's next for me right now is there's talk of surgery on the eyes. We've got to see how it goes over the next few weeks. Obviously, that's down to the specialists and stuff, but I'm not in the gym training at the moment. I'm not doing anything MMA-wise at the moment. I'm just following the doctor's orders right now and seeing what happens with the health.
How do you sort of see this going forward for yourself with the UFC?
I think right now we just got to focus on the health, innit? We just got to get everything back to normal, follow the doctor's orders, and that's all I can control right now. So we'll cross that bridge when I'm feeling better and everything's right.
In the wake of this serious diagnosis, Tom Aspinall has revealed that he is completely stepping away from training for the time being to concentrate fully on his health. This isn't just a short break. He disclosed that he might actually need eye surgery to correct the damage. He emphatically stressed that for now, his #1 priority is recovery and making sure he's in the absolute best condition possible before even thinking about fighting again. Aspinall explained that all the other stuff, including getting back to the gym, mapping out future fight plans, all of it will have to wait until his health improves. He's taking this incredibly seriously, one step at a time, as he should.
Look, when I watched the fight back, that's when I really got the gist of what's going on. The guy was trying to poke my eyes out all the way through that round. Multiple exchanges, nearly every exchange that I could put him in danger. He had his fingers out pointing towards my eyes. The guy was cheating from the first second, and the way that he wanted to win that fight was to have me compromised by cheating. My thoughts on him, I think he's a big cheater. Look at all his fights, even Jon Jones himself, even the GOAT himself said before he fought him that Surrogan's a cheater and uses dirty tactics.
And it's not just fans taking notice. Fellow fighter Wade Plemons reacted to Tom Aspinall's medical report with genuine, deep concern, calling the situation far more serious than anyone initially realized. He had a direct message for anyone accusing Tom of quitting or faking the injury, telling them they should seriously reconsider their stance. Why? Because if the diagnosis is truly Brown syndrome, this might not even be something that can be fully fixed. Plemons pointed out that, in his view, an issue like that could severely limit Tom's ability to fight and potentially put his entire career in jeopardy. Wade Plemons himself said, quote, "Holy shit, this is serious. For all the people that said Tom was a quitter or faking it, if he really has Brown syndrome, I don't know if that can even be resolved, and that could severely hamper him fighting to the point that his fighting career is essentially over." On top of this, Tom Aspinall is also accusing Cyril Gane of fighting dirty, claiming that the eye poke was absolutely no accident. He explained that rewatching the footage made everything crystal clear, noting that throughout the round, Gane repeatedly extended his fingers toward his eyes, especially whenever he was put in a dangerous position. Aspinall argued that it wasn't just a one-off moment but a clear pattern of behavior, insisting Gane was deliberately trying to compromise him with illegal tactics. He even brought up Jon Jones, pointing out that the sports GOAT had already warned everyone about Gane's habits long before their fight ever happened.
Things need to change in the sport of MMA when it comes to fouls. I'm obviously very keen to get back and beat this guy up. I've got to be 100% right, so whenever the eye's good to go, that's when I'll do it. A lot of haters out there who are living some very sad lives, who think they're eye doctors. I'll double eye poke you full blast in the eyes and see if you can still write some grim comment on Instagram. You let me know, you tough guys out there.
Following this whole ordeal, Tom Aspinall is stressing that the sport desperately needs real, meaningful changes when it comes to handling fouls, especially these career-altering eye pokes. He made it perfectly clear that he wants a rematch with Cyril Gane, but there's a huge condition. It will only happen when he is fully healthy. He specifically noted that he has to get his eyes fixed before even thinking about returning to the Octagon, and he had a fiery message for his critics online, firing back by saying that so many of them are acting like they're suddenly eye specialists despite having absolutely no idea what kind of serious medical situation he's actually dealing with.
But looking back at it now, like, what do you do with What do you do with eye pokes? It happened to me, and it happens to everybody. And the Nevada State Athletic Commission, they need to step up and say, automatic 1 point, second time you do it, disqualifications, like no more.
It seems like other fighters are echoing this sentiment. The one and only Henry Cejudo also agrees and is demanding much tougher penalties for eye pokes, going so far as to propose that repeat offenders should be outright disqualified. He suggested a very specific rule change for the Nevada State Athletic Commission, implement an automatic point deduction for the very first offense, and then enforce an immediate disqualification if that same fighter commits a second violation. It's a hardline stance, but one that many feel is necessary to protect the fighters.
I mean, he had Tom bloodied up, and Tom didn't want to continue in the fight, so who gives it?
What do you think about Dana White saying Tom didn't continue? And then also, who gives it to eye pokes?
Well, listen, I didn't continue. I'll tell you why I didn't continue. Because I'm not a dummy. Like, I'm not going to go out there and fight one of the best strikers in the world if I can't see.
With double vision?
With any eye. As an MMA fighter, look, things are going to happen in the fight that compromise you. Go back and watch my fight with Arlovski. The end of the first round, he punched me right in the eyeball.
Final 20 seconds of the first round. Oh! Hit right from Arlovski.
For the rest of that fight, I couldn't see him out that eye. That's fine. If you get punched or kicked in the eye, that's fine.
Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall reacted very strongly to Dana White's comment that he didn't want to continue, explaining that his decision had absolutely nothing to do with fear and everything to do with safety. He clarified the obvious, stating that he couldn't possibly fight one of the world's most elite strikers while dealing with double vision. As he pointed out, having compromised vision inside the MMA cage isn't just a disadvantage. It can lead to incredibly dangerous, career-ending situations.
Double eye poked in both eyes and you've got no vision because of a foul. Why should I carry on so some dummy can look and say, oh yeah, Tom just got knocked out? Because I ain't going to fight if I can't see anything because of a foul. If it's an illegal move, we have to fight through it. That's what we do as fighters. But when it's a foul, why am I going to put my health at risk when I can't see at all?
So you're not too happy then on what the president of the organisation is saying towards it?
Well, what do you think?
Tom didn't want to continue in the fight, so.
Look, we all know who is at fault here. What the f are you talking about, huh?
Tom Aspinall further added that his decision was purely about health and long-term safety and nothing else. He explained that after taking not one but 2 eye pokes in both eyes, he was left virtually unable to see, and continuing to fight under those conditions would have been nothing short of reckless. Aspinall emphasized that while fighters are often expected to push through minor fouls, this was different. When a serious foul completely compromises your vision, risking your health and your future for one fight is simply unreasonable. He expressed clear frustration that the organization's own president seemed to misrepresent the situation entirely, insisting it was obvious to anyone watching who was responsible for the foul.
Being poked in the eye is illegal, Brendan, but to fight with one eye is very common. The opponent's trying to hit your eye. He's trying to bust up and make your nose bleed. So that part of it does have question for guys like Anthony and I. We're trying to be polite. We're trying to show grace, but in all fairness, if you're the heavyweight champion of the world, you got to fight with one eye at a time.
On the flip side, you've got figures like Chael Sonnen, who thinks Tom Aspinall should have found a way to continue despite the eye poke from Cyril Gane. Sonnen argues from an old-school perspective, suggesting that fighting with impaired vision is just part of the brutal reality of the sport. In his mind, this is especially true for a heavyweight, a fighter who is expected to endure and adapt to the most difficult and painful circumstances inside that cage.
I felt like the fight was going okay. It was going pretty much to plan. I think that, look, there was this big notion in the media before that I'm just going to run through Cyril Gane. Look, I might look like an idiot. Sometimes I might even talk like an idiot. But when it comes to fighting, I know what I'm talking about. And I know that Cyril Gane is a tough matchup for me. Really good defensively. I knew that if we want to break the fight down a little bit, Cyril's got really good defense. He moves really, really well on his feet. I knew that I have to stand in range and take a few punches from Cyril to be able to land my own shots. I thought it was going to be a 5-round fight. Go and look at my pre-fight stuff. I knew this was going to be a long and tough fight.
Tom Aspinall also took the time to respond directly to the fans who were claiming he was already losing the fight to Cyril Gane before the foul occurred. He pushed back on that narrative, saying the fight was actually going exactly according to his plan. He explained that he was intentionally staying in range, even taking some of Gane's punches as a strategic way to create openings for his own powerful shots. It wasn't about being outclassed, it was a calculated part of his game plan.
Man, Tom, when Tom gets hurt, it's like he's like immediately incapacitated. Immediately.
He shut down.
It's like He poked my eye, and then he's like, immediately, there was no like.
He never tried to look. It was rag on the eye immediately.
Dude, I was looking the silliest looking cat on national TV, just
trying. He didn't try.
trying.
He didn't try.
Same thing with Curtis Blaze. When he hurt his knee, there was no limping, there was no trying to get up. It was just like immediately.
Yep.
Oh, burn my village. I can't go on. Like,
He doesn't have the dog in him. Yeah, that kill or be killed.
Immediately quits.
Yeah.
When he got tapped out with an ankle lock, there was no trying to fight his hands. There were no trying to. He immediately quit.
You see the pattern of it.
Immediately.
Yeah. And I noticed the profile pic change, and then you had some on your horse too, similar.
Yeah.
What's with that?
I'm just having fun.
You having fun with the eye patches?
I'm having fun with it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, he had at it with me. He had a long time coming at me. So it's to keep the fans engaged.
On the other hand, while a lot of MMA pros had initially criticized Tom for quitting the fight, the release of his medical reports has proven that Aspinall absolutely did the right thing. But you know who didn't miss this opportunity to take a shot? Jon Jones. He jumped on the controversy surrounding the UFC 31 eye poke to criticize Tom Aspinall's resilience. Jones argues that Tom has a tendency to fold the very moment that real adversity hits. He pointed specifically to the Curtis Blades fight and an even earlier ankle lock defeat as clear examples of Aspinall shutting down instead of pushing through the pain. And as for that duck with an eye patch profile picture that Jones used to mock him, Jones brushed it off, describing it as just harmless banter meant to entertain the fans after Tom had repeatedly called him out.
I'm gonna tell you something about Jon Jones. Jon Jones is the most methodical fighter that ever stepped foot inside the UFC. His mind is totally different from ours. He knows exactly what he's doing when he does it. He knows exactly what he's doing. I know he trains that shit. I know that's his defense mechanism. It is. It's when you're advancing on him and you get
away so that you can't reach me. I don't got this long run. You can't reach me.
And I can poke you in the eyes. He's doing it on purpose. He's done interviews about it.
And said he did it on purpose?
He said, yeah.
Stop. He ain't said that.
Yeah.
I want you to show me the interview where he said, I
saw
on purpose.
I saw a clip the other day. You can tell. You can look. And he said, and he said it might be illegal and stuff like that, but he said, hey, it works. He does it on purpose. Trust me.
However, the legendary Rampage Jackson has a very different take on Jon Jones, claiming that Jones deliberately uses eye pokes as a defensive tactic. He describes Jones as one of the most methodical and strategic fighters in the entire history of the UFC, with a unique and highly analytical approach to combat. Jackson goes on to explain that he believes Jones actually practices the move intentionally, using it strategically whenever his opponents get too close, which would make the eye poke a planned and rehearsed element of his defensive arsenal.
I really have gotten to a point in fighting where I feel as if I'm in a position that I have a lot more to lose than to gain. And that's just me being honest. That's not being a coward or whatever. That's just the truth. I'm almost 40 years old now in a combat sport, very physical sport.
Yeah.
I have to do things that make the right decision, and fighting just to continue fighting doesn't make sense to me anymore. I feel as if I can earn money outside of punching people.
Yeah.
And to challenge myself in that way means more to me now than to fight again. But to be at the White House is the reason why I'm out of retirement. It has nothing to do with Aspinall or Pereira or anybody. It was the White House. The idea of being a part of something so historical means more to me than a few extra $1 million or another win in the win column.
Meanwhile, Jon Jones himself also clarified exactly why he turned down a massive $30 million offer to fight Tom Aspinall. He explained that at nearly 40 years old, he feels there's far more to lose than there is to gain by staying active in the sport. At this stage of his career, he said, "The risk just isn't worth the reward." He made it clear that his potential return from retirement is being driven by the unique opportunity to visit the White House, not because of any specific matchup with Aspinall or even Alex Pereira.
I've never been to the White House. I've had many opportunities to go and visit the White House. I've never taken anyone up on it, but to compete there, to warm up inside of the White House, and to
walk out through the Oval Office.
I think they said it would be on the South Lawn.
Yeah, I think you would walk out through the Oval Office into the South Lawn.
It would earn me some major points with my friends too. I'm friends with some of our country's top military veterans, and I know that they would find it to be very, very cool.
Yeah,
very, very cool. So for me, it's like some of my motivations aren't traditional anymore. I don't think I care about what most fighters would care about.
Yeah.
Most fighters wouldn't turn down $30 million. They just wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
My goals are different than other people's these days.
Yeah.
And yeah, White House would be something for my personal bucket list that would just...
Digging deeper into his mindset, Jon Jones explains that his motivations have completely changed and they no longer align with what drives most other fighters. He fully admits that turning down $30 million would sound absolutely crazy to most people, but his priorities are just different now. For him, the opportunity to be honored at the White House is a massive personal milestone, something that means far more to him than any paycheck or any single fight ever could.
I haven't said yes or no to anybody yet, but I can't put Jon Jones in a position where he can, you know.
Right. You can't let this get canceled.
I had a deal with him. We had a deal to fight Tom Aspinall.
Really?
Oh. Yeah, we had a deal.
What happened?
And he said, you know what, I'm not going to do it.
He didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
However, it seems Dana White isn't on the same page. The UFC boss made it crystal clear that Jon Jones will not be included on the UFC's prestigious White House card after pulling out of the planned fight with Tom Aspinall. He said the agreement was already set in stone, but Jones ultimately chose not to follow through with his commitment. White stressed that for a landmark event like this, he needs fighters who stick to their word and can be trusted to show up when it counts. It sounds like Dana is asking, are you saying no to Jones? What's the deal?
It's a more matter of legacy. What would make more sense?
Yep.
Do you fight the guy who is impressive right now, who no one, I don't think, is going to really care about a few years from now? Or do you fight the guy who's going to be remembered around the world for a very long time? I mean, in Brazil, Pereira is an absolute idol right now. Pereira, literally, one of the only things he says is trauma.
Yeah.
And people are, no one even knows what it means.
Yeah.
But he has that it factor, and that's a part of the reason why I wanted to compete against Pereira. The brand that he represents, the energy that he has behind him, will be remembered more than just 5 years from now.
Yeah.
For example, Aspinall just had a close fight, and people are already writing him off.
Yeah.
I can't be in that position. I gotta have someone I can count on. Diving back into potential matchups, Jon Jones explains that choosing Alex Pereira over Tom Aspinall all comes down to legacy. He wants a matchup that will be talked about and remembered for decades, not just a fight that looks good on paper in the moment. In his view, Pereira is a national icon in Brazil, a fighter who possesses a rare aura and star power that creates a lasting impact on the sport. Jones contrasts this with other fighters who, even after putting on competitive performances, are often forgotten within just a few years. But he believes Pereira's presence and influence will remain significant long into the future.
If Tom Aspinall goes out there and wins, what happens to his career after that? That's the Jon Jones potential fight at the White House. Like, there's so much that Tom missed out on because of that. Super unfortunate, sad, and it would have made the heavyweight division it would have made it a lot more fun. I mean, the whole division's been so crazy with Jon Jones. You know, he defended an interim belt, Tom Aspinall. It's like, what do you? I mean, Jon Jones is done. Alex Pereira, he's probably not moving up to heavyweight. Like, you just rematch that fight. You know, the crowd was insanely loud, so it was like, I guess it was a big fight, but do you watch it again? Do you make that fight again? Jon doesn't want to fight Tom. Alex doesn't want to fight Tom. Man, yeah, I don't even know what you do with that fight. I think Dana said he's going to make a rematch.
Furthermore, Sean O'Malley expressed that he felt genuinely sorry for Tom Aspinall, especially after the eye poke brought the fight to such an unsatisfying end. He believes the incident robbed Tom of an absolutely huge career-defining opportunity. O'Malley imagined how different things could be right now if Tom had won that night, possibly setting up a massive legacy-defining fight with Jon Jones and bringing a whole new wave of energy to the heavyweight division. O'Malley reflected on just how unpredictable the division has become, wondering what direction it would even take next, since it seems neither Jones nor Alex Pereira are particularly interested in facing Aspinall. He admitted the whole situation has left more questions than answers about what the future holds. It really makes you think, what could have been?
I was as disappointed as anybody else. And I think at first, I really was kind of on the side of, man, Tom, like, come on, you got to step up. This is a main event, this heavyweight title. Take as much time as you need, but get back in there. I think when I saw the poke and how bad it was and the fact that it compromised both eyes, it was ugly. And you're right, that only Tom Aspinall really knows. Could he have continued? And I think I talked to a few people about this, and somebody brought up a really good point to me that let's say that he could kind of see, but it was not great 100%. And you're in there with a guy like Cyril Gahn, who's on point. He's on point. You haven't been in the octagon in a really long time. And now you're compromised. And even if you maybe can continue, you know, I think there was a part of it that was like, I'm not fighting this guy with not 100% vision.
Paul Felder also chimed in, admitting that he was initially frustrated by the eye poke and, at first, thought Tom Aspinall should have tried to continue in the heavyweight title fight. However, his entire perspective shifted once he saw the true severity of the injury and realized that both of Aspinall's eyes were affected. He explained that only Aspinall himself could truly know how compromised his vision was in that moment. Felder emphasized that facing a precise, dangerous striker like Cyril Gahn with limited or double sight would have been extremely risky. He ultimately concluded that stopping the fight was, without a doubt, the smartest and safest decision Aspinall could have made. And that officially wraps up today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed this deep dive into everything that's been happening. We'd love to hear from you. So let us know all your thoughts on this situation down in the comments below. And hey, if you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more MMA updates and reactions just like this one. We'll see you in the next one.